Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy, but with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 2 below, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 9. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul, from award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
It's a good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. Hey, we discuss local, national, Native news and events, and as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. Hey, we're going to have an all Ho-Chunk show tonight, and we have starting out here our relative here, Arvina Martin. Arvina Martin is the first Native person ever elected of Madison, Wisconsin's Common Council, and was selected vice president in 2020 by her peers. Arvina is an enrolled member of the Ho-Chunk Nation, and Stockbridge, Muncie, and has worked with Native communities throughout her career. Hey, this is a special half a show, Arvina, because we have our relative coming on. Welcome, as always.
Thank you for having me. I'm always happy to be here.
Great. Well, why don't we bring Rodney on? And Rodney Rave, Rodney is running for Congress, and Rodney is a lifelong resident of Black River Falls, Wisconsin, a proud Ho-Chunk member, a union operating engineer, a family man who built his life through hard work, integrity, and service with others, a Democratic candidate. And we're really excited to have you on, Rodney. And I know you as a Ho-Chunk legislator, And I know you have a great heart, and I'm so glad that you're running. And Arvina and I are going to grill you. Oh, wow. Welcome, Rodney.
Oh, all right.
So, Rodney,
Thank you.
yes. Hey, Rodney, tell us a little bit about. I know your story and what made you come to this decision to run, because we know, and Arvina knows really well about running for an office, and so I'd love to have you tell your story to all our relatives out there listening.
Yeah. As a legislator for the Ho Chunk Nation, I spent a lot of time in Washington and the state capitol here in Wisconsin in many different congressional and Senate offices, and taking the Ho Chunk Nation and other tribes' issues to Washington. It's the usual. We got told what we wanted to hear and then ushered out the door. And once Trump got in, all of the different funding sources for all the tribes, different grants, everything just started drying up. And I just, it was wrong. So I decided to resign from legislature, jump into this congressional run both feet, and see what I could do for the Native populations. Well, also the 3rd Congressional District, obviously, but I want to be those ears and eyes that are in Washington also for the tribes.
Well, Arvina, that's awesome, and that takes a lot of guts, as you know. What do you think, Arvina? It's great to have representation, or what?
Absolutely. Yes, it's such a big deal. Just your candidacy, and having you out there, and young Native people in particular, seeing you and someone like them, whether they're Ho Chunk or from another tribe, and really saying, well, he can do it. He came from the same kind of background I did. I can do this too. I mean, I think it means the world, and I'm so proud of you for putting your name out there for this. It's huge.
Yeah, definitely, Rodney.
Obviously, the Ho Chunk Nation, we're not a reservation, but we're a native area, and I grew up very poor. I would compare notes with anybody on who was poorer, and just decided I wanted more for my family. Went into construction, and blue collar worker. I worked 31 years in highway construction until I retired back in 2002, and a part of this congressional run is hoping that any youth, I don't care race, any youth that are willing to step up and say, this guy was just a plain old construction worker, and if he can do it, I can do it. And I'd really like to see more youth step into this.
Yeah, well, we're excited that you are, because we know, and I know from a little bit of being a legislator too with you, Rodney, is that we don't have hardly any, if all, recognition when it comes to people in the political realm in Wisconsin. And we're lucky to have some of that here in Minnesota, and it really, really makes a difference. So again, kudos to you. One of the things I want to ask you, because I have a good memory, but it's short, is how can people support you? Where can they go to? Because we know it not only takes a village, but it takes a lot of money to do a campaign.
Sure. Raveforcongress.com. You can look me up there. And I believe, I'm not sure what all my contacts are on there right now. It's constantly updating. QR code where they can donate.
That's cool. Well, Arvina, I know that you have some good questions, and you've been in this place. It's, again, I'm really happy to have Rodney on, because I know Rodney's a good person, and I know his heart is in a good place, and I know he'll really do well for that district and Wisconsin.
Yeah, I am wondering how your experience in construction, in the trades, how that informs your work and how it has informed your work as a legislator, and then, taking that to Congress.
It's the work ethic. Not everybody knows how rough asphalt paving is, but I mean, we stand in 300-degree asphalt no matter what the temperature is outside, and we work. We work sun up to sundown, and sometimes pretty late in the evening. So it's my congressional run is just the common sense I learned in construction and my work ethic. Just do what needs to be done to represent the district. So.
Well, that's a great, work ethic is a big part of it. And we know that there's a lot of work to be done. What kind of feedback are you getting through not only the nation, but just being on going out and politic and getting votes?
I've been to a few different Democratic monthly meetings in different counties here in the 3rd Congressional District, and it's positive everywhere I've been. People are just excited to have, anybody running against this current administration. And, it's hopefully we can get, the blue wave going and get some more seats in both houses. But yeah, everything for me has been just positive. I'm actually quite surprised, being of color, and I'm the only elder in the group, and I just wasn't sure what to expect, and everything has been just positive here.
Wow, that's great. Hey, we are here with Rodney Rave, who's running for Congress here, and from Black River Falls, and of course our person, our political consultant here, Arvina Martin, and we're going to be right back. This is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho-wah. The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern, Diani Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Diani Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and I want to be your next United States Senator, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. And we are here with our friend Rodney Rave, who's running for Congress, and Arvina Martin, our political consultant coming out of Wisconsin. Really exciting to have Rodney on, Arvina. What else do we have for him? Because I know he's a busy person, and we only got him for another segment here. What other great questions do you have for him?
Yeah, I was wondering what you thought about the current congressman from the 3rd District, Derek Van Orden, about his response to all of the things that are happening in Minneapolis with ICE, all of that. Do you have any comment on how he's responded, or how you would respond differently?
Where do I start? He's a Trumper, and everything he says is not correct, not right. That's really all you can say about it. You know, it's part of the reason why he needs to be replaced. He's a Trumper. What more can you say about that?
Yeah, well, I have a few more things to say about it, but we're on live radio and we want to keep our license. But I appreciate that, Rodney, and I think what I really like about you, and always liked about you, is that you're a common sense person, and that's what we need. And so again, I really appreciate that you're running. It's just common sense what's going on, and being for the people, and like you said earlier, not just for the BIPOC people or people of color, but you're for everyone in that district.
Mm-hmm. Yep. One thing I'd like to touch on is, well, obviously ICE. But, when it comes to what's going on with ICE, the any people of color, and especially natives, when somebody like me is running for a position in Washington or the state, all the tribes in the United States should be backing these people. In a primary, the most I can accept is $3,500. And for the tribes to not be backing each of us, I think is wrong. Because if we don't start putting more people in Washington, we have to sit and just let them tell us how we're going to live our lives, what we're going to receive from the government, through the trust or treaty obligations that they have. And I just don't think that's right. Every tribe should be backing every native candidate right now, especially right now, so we can start fighting this ICE situation.
Yeah, absolutely. So are all the 11 tribes aboard or helping you out here in Wisconsin, or do we need to make some phone calls?
I've tried every tribe. Can't really get past the receptionists, or they're not returning calls. Some of the tribes around the United States say we don't donate to the primaries, and that is wrong too, because a lot of us natives come from the res, and we don't have those connections that a lot of these new politicians have for monetary donations. And if the tribes all got together, we could start putting people in offices, and also and donate in those primaries. It's the only way we're going to get there, because like myself, I'm going to be running on a shoestring budget just because I don't have those connections. And when I was in Washington, I had a couple of, I don't remember if they were congressmen or senators right offhand, but they actually said they were afraid of the tribes in their respective districts, because if the tribes banded together, they knew we could get things done. They knew the money and power behind the tribes, but we're not uniting and working on these things. And that's what I'd like to see changed, is these tribes coming forward and helping those of us that are running for different seats in donating to our campaigns for this.
Well, Arvina, do you have a comment on that? Is that the way like things in Wisconsin and nationally are? Is that it's hard to get some of our relatives and other tribes to support us?
I mean, I think it's true with a lot of groups and not just tribes, is that people are nervous about getting behind somebody in a primary, and if their candidate loses, are they going to stoke the ire of the other candidates, the one who ultimately wins, and that is kind of a calculation that they have to make. And I don't know the answer to that question, because I think it can be different for different communities. But I think that tribes not sitting on the back burner for elections is a huge point that Rodney just brought up. And I think around now, while the things are so divisive and things are so like clearly divided, I mean, literally between good and evil. I mean, let's be real, that we would like our tribes to stand up for the side of good. And that's a grand, a larger extrapolation. There are so many details and calculations that need to be made into why a tribe might make a certain decision. But I think people just want to see their leaders standing up for what's right now.
Well, and what I want to say too is anybody listening to the show, and we do have a big following in Wisconsin, and you are a tribal member, talk to your legislators, talk to your tribal leaders. We need to support our relatives running. Rodney's sticking his neck out and needs big support. And I don't know, waiting around is not the answer.
Another thing I'd like to mention too is, I know you liked the thing I said way back when I was a legislator. The tribe should keep in mind too that we should be putting people in office instead of waiting for these non-natives in Washington trying to decide treaty obligations. And I want to be at that negotiation table to negotiate on behalf of the tribes. I don't want these old politicians who make it a career sitting in their office trying to decide what scraps they're going to throw to us, and if they give us a little too much, start taking it away from us. I want to be at that negotiation table on behalf of the tribes also.
Absolutely, and I think that's part of our message here when Arvina and I talk all the time here on Native Roots Radio. If you're not at the table, if you don't have, if there's not a chair for you at the table, pull up a folding chair, right, Arvina?
Yeah, absolutely. Or I think the other version is if you're not at the table, you're on the
menu.
Yes, I was gonna say you're on the plate. That's not right.
That was close though. So yeah, Wisconsin and people listening to us all over Turtle Island, because I know we have people listening to us all over the country. That's support Rodney. And again, Rodney Rave for Congress. It's Facebook. And do you guys have a Act Blue in Wisconsin too?
Yep, it should be on my QR code.
Excellent. So I know you're really busy. Arvina, do you have any more? And Rodney, I'd love to have you on again, because these are really great points that need to be driven home about supporting our relatives. And Arvina, do you have anything else to add before we let Rodney go?
I just want to say that not only is it exciting to have another Ho-Chunk candidate in the race, it's really exciting to have that candidate be someone with tribal legislative experience, someone who has gone to Washington on behalf of our tribes, our nations, and understands what it is like on our side of the table. That's such a huge deal. And I'm really glad that Rodney's running to be able to do that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Rodney, you got the last word. We got less than a minute.
Just the same. Money talks with these people. I learned that real fast when I jumped into this. Money talks, and if you don't have the money, you're not going to win. So I'm looking for support from everybody, anybody, and everybody, and also hopefully the tribes around the United States understand what it's going to mean to have another voice in Congress.
Perfect. Well, again, thank you so much, Rodney, for coming on and speaking your truth. And I want to say more than good luck. And I appreciate you. And my gosh, you are a great human being. And remember, I couldn't say that about a lot of our colleagues. But I always got along with Rodney. And Rodney had like this dish of candy, Arvina, that when I would make it to Black River Falls, I would take some. So I owe you.
Passing that energy on.
Thanks again.
All right.
Rodney Rave for Congress. Please support him. And we'll be back. Arvina and I will be talking about what's happening nationally and what people are talking about. This is Native Roots Radio, and we'll be back after this short break. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors. The Walker Arts Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
Located just north of 50th in France, the Great Wall Restaurant has provided a delicious taste of authentic Chinese cuisine since 1981. Specializing in Szechuan and Peking dishes, they offer one of the most extensive menus in the Twin Cities. Favorites include hot and sour soup, pan-fried dumplings, and mushu pork with homemade Chinese pancakes. Stop by their Edina location or call for takeout at 952-927-4439. See the full menu at greatwallrestaurant.us.
In today's uncertain times, Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces believes that a fire can add comfort and security to your life. At Woodland, our mission is to connect you to a place for fire that works.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces installed our wood stove years ago, and we still love it. Watching the fire, feeling the heat, is a joy we experience every day. And knowing we have a reliable heat source makes us feel snug and safe.
There are many choices in wood, gas, or electric. For diversity in styles, at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, we display over 180 models, and 35 of of these are burning displays. You can experience the glow and warmth of a live fire.
Whether wood, gas, or electric, find a fire that warms your heart, a fire that adds comfort and security to your life. See the many choices at Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces, located on the corner of East Franklin and Riverside Avenue in Minneapolis, and online at woodlandstoves.com.
Woodland Stoves and Fireplaces since 1977. For over 48 years, our slogan has been, out of the ordinary products and services. Our mission is to get you a fireplace that works in your life.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. Tonight, clear with a low of 2 below, then Wednesday, sunshine with a high of 9. There's something for everybody at Cafe Latte in St. Paul, from award-winning soup, salad, sandwiches, and desserts to treats from the bakery made fresh daily and a pizza and wine bar. Cafe Latte is located on the corner of Grand Avenue and Victoria Street. Check them out at cafelatte.com.
AM 950 KTNF, St. Louis Park, Minneapolis, St. Paul.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. Hey, this is Native Roots Radio, and we are with our friend Arvina Martin. Hey, I just want to let everyone know I'm at Enda Young, which is a shelter, a 43-bedroom shelter for Native Americans in St. Paul, and I was at a meeting today, and I thought I'd do the show from here. Just a quick shout out to Enda Young. What a great organization helping our Native youth from, I think it's from 5 to 24 years old that are staying here. Hey, Arvina, one of the things that I was a guest on someone else's show, one of the things that I opened up with, and it was basically what I said was the rage you feel right now is what Native American people have felt for decades. Welcome to the front lines. And I really feel that way because I'm really amazed by what's happening here in Minnesota when it comes in the Twin Cities, what comes to protesting. And I believe it's working, and it really feels like it's working, and things are moving.
Yeah, I very much agree. I mean, and I would expand the decades to centuries.
Yeah.
You know, we've got like we're coming up on 600 years of it. So and you know, our Black family, our African American family also has been bearing the brunt of this in a different, a similar but a different way. And you know, especially recently with so many shootings by police of unarmed Black people in their own homes walking after getting Skittles, you know, this and it's I think we are seeing our white family, our white relatives kind of seeing what that feels like to be a target. You know, and I say particularly our white male relatives. You know, it's an alarming feeling. We know that and you know, it's a hard realization to think about, you know, you potentially being a target. And I think that, you know, Minnesota has done such an incredible job. And actually in preparation for this, I pulled a quote from, and I don't know where it's from, but one of my Facebook friends posted it. And I really think it is an ode to Minneapolis, the people there, to Minnesotans. And, you know, while we may not agree on sports, you know, Wisconsin has your back, and you know, we'll just chalk that up to like sibling rivalry. But this is what I wanted to share. It starts, the secret fear of the morally depraved is that virtue is actually common, and that they're the ones who are alone. In Minnesota, all of the ideological cornerstones of MAGA have been proved false at once. Minnesotans, not the armed thugs of ICE and the Border Patrol, are brave. Minnesotans have shown that their community is socially cohesive because of its diversity, not in spite of it. Minnesotans have found and loved one another in a world atomized by social media, where empty men have tried to fill their lonely soul with lies about their own inherent superiority. Minnesotans have preserved everything worthwhile. Sorry for the cattail about Western laws. Minnesotans have preserved everything worthwhile about Western civilization, while armed brutes try to tear it down by force. And
Yeah,
we're proud of you.
that's beautiful. One of the things that people were asking before, and I think you and I have already talked about this, is why Minnesota, and partially because we had Walz run for vice president, and this is not the Department of Justice, this is the Department of Revenge, and things work really well here in Minnesota, and we take care of our relatives, and they can't stand that it works well here. We have all these Fortune 500 companies, and we take care of our relatives that need to be taken care of. So I think there's some people that are upset that we do well here.
I mean, yeah, you can't. I mean, when you think of the stereotype that conservatives throw out there of the, angry leftist person, that's not who people think of when they, think of people from Minnesota. Like that's not the stereotype. And people are. My cat is very affectionate right now. But those are not these are people that folks relate to, like these are Minnesotans are like, yeah, those are the people you want to have as your neighbor. And it's just so like every person, every man kind of energy. And I also think that for the majority, for the people that know that what is happening is wrong, the way that you all are reacting is the way that we all hope that we'll react when we are encountering the same situation, because I don't think it's going to get better anytime soon. Greg Bovin leaving, be danged, but it's like that first they came for poem, and by the time they get to you, there's no one else left to stand for you. So we need to make sure that we are not only standing with Minnesotans, but paying attention to what they're doing, what you guys are doing, how you guys are organizing, and organizing around protecting each other. This is that community support that we all should be lucky to have. And I just think it's been, a terrible one to need, but a master class on protecting each other. And I hope that everybody else across the country and across the world learns how to do the same.
Well, the last murder was he was trying to protect somebody, and if you play the whole tape and watch the different angles, that's what it was about. We talked about this, I think, and one of the things that I cannot understand when I get on my social media is why the right-wing people are so angry. They have everything. They have the president, they own the Supreme Court, they have the legislature. Why are they still so angry? They're having their own way, and it's just mind-blowing.
They're angry because they still can't pay for their groceries. They still can't get their health insurance at a reasonable rate. And they don't want to come to the grips with the fact that it's their that it's their heroes, that the people that they want to be in office, they're not fixing it. And it's a very, emperor has no clothes situation, and they don't want to stand out and be the first to point it out. The first giant air quotes.
No, that's a good analogy there, because I believe that too. But it's almost a rhetorical question. Is that really what you guys got your way? Is this what you voted for? Some people maybe no, but other people Definitely.
Yeah, yes, you're absolutely right there. And it's still not enough. It's got to be, well, now we don't like the Second Amendment, and now you shouldn't protect yourself with a gun against, the government.
Right.
It's mind-blowing, the quick 180 that they've taken.
Well, and news travels, or not travels, but news happens so fast. I mean, did you hear what Bondi said? We'll remove the ICE agents if you give us your voter rolls. And it's like, what? This is definitely not about illegal immigrants that are dangerous.
Yeah, absolutely not. This is the feds, the Justice Department, Trump trying to strong arm their way into voter records so that they can make sure that only the people they want to vote get to vote.
Yeah.
And
well,
by any means, they'll do it.
Yeah, well, I like what you said a little earlier. I'm really proud of Minnesota, and I think we got a lot of our fun stuff, because I'm going, man, I should probably pull out my trumpet again here and start playing with these guys, because Portland was really fun with all those costumes and everything when they were protesting, but they didn't have as many ICE agents here.
Yeah. Well, and we know that one of the worst things that they can be, how they can be mocked is by making them look silly and having them all with giant rifles, against an inflatable frog, that they look silly, So, I mean, that hits at their ego as well. And I love that Portland did it their way, and Minneapolis is doing it their way. I just think that it's just such a testament to what America should be. The response of, obviously, is such, I think, the things that we want out of Americans, and the behavior of folks standing up to all of this injustice is to do, these are great ways, and consistent with who people are. It's just powerful.
I'm old here, so I guess I wouldn't have thought of protesting, at where people are staying. And so to me, that's brilliant.
Yeah, I think I think of that. I don't know if you watch as much reality TV as I do, but the Bad Girls Club, one of the girls, and this is from like over a decade ago, one of the girls was upset about them interrupting her sleep. So she took pots and pans, and in the middle of the night was banging and singing like, I didn't get sleep because of you. You're not going to sleep because of me. And like, that's the kind of energy I see, well, and it's kind of fun.
Well, one of the fun energies too, this was about a week ago, it looked like a MAGA reporter and the woman by the lake was saying, "Oh, you're a big man talking." And it was just like, oh my gosh, that's it. That was awesome. That was totally awesome.
Ridiculous, Yeah. It was amazing.
It was. Hey, we're here with Arvina Martin, our political consultant here out of Madison, Wisconsin, and we'll be right back after this short break. You're listening to Native Roots Radio. The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio, rooted in Lakota aesthetics of geometry, color, and pattern. Gianni Whitehawk's abstractions are rich in meaning, honoring generations of Native artists. Explore her wide-ranging practice, including vivid beading paintings, sculptures, and video installations, and Gianni Whitehawk's love language. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. Plan your visit and get tickets at walkerart.org. Rebuilding Together Minnesota provides critical home repairs and safety modifications at no cost to low-income homeowners, with a focus on supporting BIPOC communities across Minnesota, because everyone deserves a safe place to live. If repairs feel out of reach, help is available. Their work helps older adults stay independent, support families, and strengthens neighborhoods. Apply during the application window through March 31st. Visit rtmn.org and select Apply for Help, or call 651-776-4273. Rebuilding Together Minnesota, where neighbors help neighbors.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis AIR. AIR stands for American Indian Relations. Guest host Christine McDonald talks to people about important things affecting the city's Native communities. Minneapolis AIR dives into topics like public safety, public health, elections, and so much more. Tune in to Minneapolis AIR on Native Roots Radio from 5 to 6 p.m. on the second Wednesday of every month, right here on AM 950.
The Walker Art Center is a proud supporter of Native Roots Radio. Visit Diani Whitehawk, Love Language, an exhibition that celebrates the Sichangu Lakota artist. The exhibition celebrating Whitehawk closes on February 15th, centered on connection between one another, past and present, earth and sky, and traditions of Lakota abstraction. Love Language is a sweeping survey of Whitehawk's work. The Walker is always free on Thursday nights, and citizens and members of tribal nations always get free admission. More info at walkerart.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot. Hey, welcome back, everyone. This is Robert Pilot again with Arvina Martin, our good friend. Arvina, I just wanted to lift up Rodney one more time and just say, please give what you can to Rodney Rave for Congress. You guys anywhere across Turtle Island, but especially you guys out there in Wisconsin and our tribal leaders that I know do listen to this show.
Absolutely. Rave for Congress. You can get yourself on his mailing list, and you can get yourself, toss him a couple bucks and help him reach more voters of the 3rd Congressional District.
Perfect. Well, Arvina, I always like to talk about this. You're a political consultant, and I want to bring this up because, I have a good memory, but it's short, but I want to bring this up before the show ends, is how people can get a hold of you and some of the services that you have. And I've seen you in action, and I know a lot of people in Wisconsin have seen you talk about Native sovereignty and things like that. So tell us some of your services and how people can get a hold of you.
Yeah, I have a training specifically called Tribes 101 that I like to give to especially people that work in political movements, whether it's campaign organizing, issue organizing. And it spends the first half talking about what is tribal sovereignty and why the relationship between tribes and the government at whatever level is different than other groups of people, and that we are not just an ethnic minority, but we have a certain status because of our treaties with the government. The second half, we talk about how to organize and engage in Indian country, whether it is on the res or on college campuses, and how to do that in a respectful way that is knowledgeable about traditions and how our communities operate, so that they can come in with the respect that tribal communities deserve.
Absolutely.
Sorry, you can find me on LinkedIn, and I'm the only Arvina Martin. I also offer other kinds of political trainings. If you are interested, let me know and we can work together.
That's awesome, and I know you do a great job, and just how plugged in you are. I really appreciate coming on the show. As always, again, I'm proud of Minnesota right now, and I'm so happy that the state and the people in the state have really stepped up, and it's really in this cold weather. I'm amazed, and I'm so grateful and happy because, again, as we talked earlier, with our protests, I'm used to like having white allies there for sure, but not to this extent. And I'm glad Minnesota is stepping up.
Absolutely. And, I'm a proud Wisconsinite, the twin sibling to you guys. There's t-shirts that sell here. I don't know if they sell them in Minnesota, but it has the two states, Minnesota and Wisconsin, with little happy faces drawn on them and arms, and it's like the states are hugging. And I've been thinking a lot. I mean, it's cutesy. It is cute. But like that sure means a lot more right now. And we back you, and we're so proud of how you guys are hanging in there and making a stand and on values and what's right. It's just thank you, Minnesota.
Well, I really, being an old junior elder here at 64, I really remember when Wisconsin, before they were gerrymandered, were blue and had blue values. And I believe they're heading back towards that because you're less gerrymandered today than you were a couple years ago.
Indeed, the third congressional district where Rodney is running is a lot more competitive. We have I believe it's the first. I'm blanking on the numbers, but the Kenosha Racine areas. Bryan Style is also vulnerable. In the Green Bay area, there's it's drawn more friendly and even if this doesn't lead to more Democratic representation, which I hope it does, but I think that going forward, we're going to see more moderate positions out of those Republican Congress people, because they are going to have to answer to, a much more purple constituency. And if they want to hang on to their job, they need to reflect that. And they can't just go full on to the right, because there's no way, they're gerrymandered right to the right district would ever vote them out.
Well, it's interesting too, and I'll never forget this because I've spent a lot of time in Madison over the years, and in Wisconsin, especially the last 4 years. But even prior to that, as a young person, I'll never forget a person I knew, and he always said, and that it gets. The further away you get from tall buildings, the less blue the state is, and thank goodness land doesn't vote, because sometimes that looks very intimidating.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's maddening when people say, "Look at how much of the country is red." It's like there's no people there.
Yeah, there's two.
That's the mountains. That's the Rockies. The Rockies mountains don't vote. There's more cattle there.
That's right. So again, how are you doing? I know the Golden Girls is on your playlist. I just got done watching or catching up with The Pit, which is an unbelievable show, such a realistic show. I can't believe it. And then I know, are you getting back into getting ready to do some roller derby? How's that going?
I'm still doing rehab for my back so I can do it safely. And want to build back more muscle before I get on stage so I can take a hit and deliver one as well.
That's right.
Yeah. But the Golden Girls are certainly helping. The Queen of Minnesota herself, Rose Nyland from St. Olaf,
Yeah.
has she's kind of taken on a new kind of place in my heart, as it's been great to like add to my show, my comfort show. So take the joy where you can, people, because that is going to be what fuels us for these fights that are going to keep coming up.
Well, I do know I posted this, and I do want to ask you about this, and I don't know how deep you want to get into this, but the Super Bowl, I just posted this a couple hours ago, that Robert Kraft donated $1 million to the Trump inaugural. Jody Allen, who owns the Seahawks, says no Trump contributions found, and leads a major philanthropic foundation, education, arts, and science. So I think I'm going with the Seahawks.
Yeah, and also let's hear it for some NFC pride,
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, of course we didn't end up in the Super Bowl. It was going to be the winners, the Seahawks.
Yeah, our old quarterback that we let go away.
Yep.
Who's the first person since Tom Brady to win 14 games with two different teams in a row. So he's got that going for him.
I mean, that's a great stat.
Well, Arvina, again, how to get a hold of you, and I really appreciate you coming on and help me on with the Rodney interview, and it was an all ho-chunk show today.
Yeah, find me on LinkedIn, Arvina Martin. Let's talk.
Right on. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance from Chief Plentycoops, the ground on which we stand on. It's sacred ground. It's the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, run for office, and vote. We're still here. We are the 7th generation. We'll see you tomorrow. Thanks, Arvina.
Thank you.
The city of Minneapolis is now on Native Roots Radio with Minneapolis Air. AIR stands for